Good afternoon and welcome to Community Connections. My name is Zana Renfro. I'm Campaign Manager for United Way of Paducah and McCracken County. And today we have some exciting news and some exciting folks to share that news and talk a little bit about what's happening this past year. We have Miss Dana Rains from Western Baptist Hospital and Caroline Korte from Raymond James Financial Group. Thank you all for coming today, and I look forward to our discussion and sharing with folks how you felt about the campaign this year.
Okay.
We wanted to talk a little bit. April is Volunteer Appreciation Month, so this year for Volunteer Appreciation Month, on April the 20th, we had a cookout at the office, and both of you all were in attendance, and we grilled hamburgers and hot dogs and just told people how much we appreciate what they did this year for us with the campaign, with going out and spreading the word that United Way needed to spread on the impact we're having in this community. So that was a good time, and at the same time we turned it into the presentation of the checks this year of who received how much money from this last year's campaign. So I think right now we have a clip and we're going to go to it and kind of talk about what we saw. 14 partner agencies came to our office and were presented with their checks this year, and I will say that it was 9% more than they had received in the past, which is always exciting news. We raised $1 million this year, and we just thank the community and the corporate donors and our leadership givers for that money that they shared. Just quickly going through the list of how much different agencies received. American Red Cross received $55,000, Family Service Society $95,000, Four Rivers with their children's hospitalization program received $14,000, Girl Scouts $31,000, and the list just goes on and on. It's great news to be able to share that money because a lot of those agencies need that help. This morning we're going to talk to Caroline a little bit about the community investment process, how long you've been involved with it, which I know you have been there a good long while.
Yes.
And we're going to talk to Donna about her personal experience. She's also been a volunteer, but talk to her a little bit about what the process means to her. So Caroline, you want to talk to us a little bit about the focus areas and the panels and how these groups were divided up?
Sure. I kind of started the same way Donna did. I participated on a panel probably 2 or 3 years, and after that, June Anthony approached both Sandy Meredith and myself about leading the community investment process. It was called something else back then, but I'll just stick with our current terminology just to lessen the confusion. Anyway, basically what community investment involves is a group of about 65 or 70 different community members from all walks of life. We had students in high school, we had retired individuals, we had people from hospitals, banks, teachers, all walks of life, and basically they dedicate about 3 days, 3 physical days to us. It's a lot more time. They do their homework and so forth, getting ready for the allocations process. What they do, they're trained for a half a day on giving an overview of what they're expected to do. They go out to the partner agencies. Each person is put on one of 4 allocations panels, and they're responsible for 3, maybe 4 agencies. And so they go out and visit the agencies themselves. It's called a site visit.
They actually go into the place?
That's right. They kick the tires. They're out there meeting the agency directors, the board of directors for that agency. Sometimes they see some of the clients that are there, if that's appropriate. And they're able to see what types of services are provided out of those agencies.
That sounds like, do you think that's a good approach to take? It sounds like a good way to introduce people.
I really do. A lot of times people are aware of the names of the agencies, but they're not really aware of what that agency does in the community and who they serve. And so by going out to that site visit, that just gives them hands-on experience. And really for people who have been in the community for a long period of time might say, gosh, I've heard of that agency before, but I didn't know where they were. And I didn't know what they did. And so by participating in that site visit, it's a great way to open your eyes to what that agency does in our community.
It's almost creating advocates for those groups while you're out visiting them.
That's exactly right. Then the next step of the process is actually the budget hearings. Each one of the panels comes back on a single day, and the agency directors present why they need the money, why they're asking for the funds from the United Way. And so they're basically in competition with all of the other agencies because there's only so many dollars in the pie. And that pie can only be divided into so many pieces. And so each partner agency, again, is competing for the biggest share of that pie that they are able to get.
Well, now when the partner agencies come and do this presentation to the board, do they talk about their electric bills, or are they talking about where?
It's a little bit of both. We're really trying to move towards program funding with the United Way, and so some of the money that's allocated might be specifically for programs that are being sponsored through the agencies. Something like day camp through Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club, or a certain type of program offered through St. Nicholas Clinic. But there are other agencies too that depend on United Way dollars to turn the lights on, to make sure that they have heating in their building and so forth. And so it's a little bit of both. But
So they describe to them exactly where their money goes.
Exactly, and that's very important because the people that are on this panel want to make sure that the dollars that the United Way is allocating are going to meet needs that are in the community, and not just into a kind of a black hole type thing for who knows what. And so again, by describing and detailing that budget information, that makes the agencies more accountable, and it gives the panel an opportunity to feel like they've allocated that money in the best way possible.
And you said it was all is it paid staffs included this, or is it all volunteers that make these decisions?
Actually, everyone is a volunteer. We are very grateful to all of our employers who let their employees participate in this process, because it does take days away from work, and it takes hours at home studying the financial information, reading over the applications that each agency submits. And so it is a commitment of time, but boy, it's an experience that most people who participate will never forget, and usually they're very anxious to participate in it again. It really takes probably a year or 2 years for a person to participate in the community investment process before they are fully comfortable, and then, you know, the sky's the limit, really.
When you say comfortable, it sounds like an emotional time too.
It is, because you want to make sure that you're being good stewards with that money, and that you're allocating those dollars to the agencies that are serving the needs in the community.
Very good. I think right now we have a clip from Cindy Petty from the Day Nursery. We'll show that real quick.
Area average cost of daycare is anywhere from $16 to $28 a day, and Paducah Day Nursery, thanks to United Way, we offer our services based on a sliding scale, which is based on the parent's income, and that fee is anywhere from $6 to $16 a day. So United Way helps us cover the difference in the cost. Without the money that United Way gives us, the contributions and you know, all the area donations, Paducah Day Nursery would not be able to exist or be able to offer the affordable daycare.
As Caroline mentioned a minute ago, I think it's always important to know that United Way funds 14 partner agencies. Some of the agencies' budgets, we fund a portion of their operating budgets, but the other parts, or other agencies, we fund good chunks of some programs. So now I want to talk a little bit to Dona Rains from Western Baptist Hospital of her experience with United Way, and also with the different corporations that she's worked with and the different avenues that she's seen United Way work in the group she works with.
Well, I first became involved with community investment probably 4 or 5 years ago when I was with Paducah Public Schools. I was the employee campaign coordinator, which meant I went from school to school trying to get our teachers and staff to contribute to the campaign each fall.
That's a big job.
It is a big job, and I found that it was so helpful to be able to let them know firsthand what I had seen on these site visits. So the community investment panel really gave me a good experience to see, as Caroline said, firsthand what those agencies were doing. At that time, it seemed that I was always assigned to the agencies that served children, because they were our students. So it was very nice to go back to the teachers and tell them what the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club were doing for our students, and it really helped us raise money for United Way. This year, I'm with Western Baptist Hospital, and I was fortunate to get to visit for the first time St. Nicholas Family Clinic. And as Caroline said, it's one of those agencies that I'd always heard of, but had never seen, really didn't know a lot about it firsthand. So it was so impressive to go there and hear some of their patients talk about how literally that program saves their lives.
Right.
Next week is Cover the Uninsured Week in the healthcare field, and I'm just learning how many people don't have medical insurance, and that agency serves those folks in our community with that need. Our hospitals help support St. Nicholas for that reason, and we also, of course, do charity care, but it's so important for them to have that clinic to go to.
Well, what a great avenue for United Way to even help you both in your job as with the school system and also with Western Baptist Hospital. I think it might help you even talking about folks to volunteer and people to come in and help United Way. I would think that that would be a good opportunity to put some pieces of the puzzle together to be able to be that resource that folks could go to, that you could recall the St. Nicholas's and the day nursery and the things to mind that can be of help. So I would think as a corporate person and a business person, that would have been a resource for you that would have been a valuable experience too.
Well, exactly. I mean, when you're in a service industry, if you want to call public education or healthcare an industry, but we're there to serve people. So it helps us to know the other services that are available in our community so we can all network.
Well, and Western Baptist Hospital was a great supporter this year of United Way and its campaign, and we appreciate that so much, and they have in the past too. Do your employees get behind the United Way campaign? Do they do things on the side, or is it strictly payroll deduction?
No, in fact, there was just an event this last week. They do have events throughout the year, bake sales and other kinds of events to raise money and keep that awareness going all year.
And that's so important. From a marketing standpoint, you know, we don't just want to be United Way who shows up once a year to collect money. We do want to let the community know we're here to foster relationships and to connect the pieces to help more people and make a difference in Paducah and McCracken County.
Well, and that's what community investment's all about, really. Not only just raising the money, but also if they can't give financially, they can give of their time through the community investment process. And that's sometimes even more important than the money that's being raised, is the willingness to be able to spend the time away from your job to dig through the information and then be good stewards of the money and make good decisions on how that's going to be allocated.
Now, I do have a question for you, and this always raises interest. Is community investment something new? Is it a new approach? Is it a new concept? Is there reasoning behind doing it?
Well, the reason why we have community investment, obviously the money has to be spent. It's been raised and we want to get it into the community. And we also want to involve as many people as possible. For as long as I've been involved in the process under different names or terms, we've always had a large volunteer group that helped with allocating those monies. And I think that's very important to try to get a wide spectrum of the community involved. And again, they become advocates for not only the partner agencies, but the United Way as a whole. When they see the process that we go through, there isn't any other nonprofit organization anywhere that goes through the diligence of the site visits and of the budget hearings that we do to allocate that money. And so it really is a community effort in not only raising the money but also spending the money.
Very good. Donna, we talked about how the corporate view was. As just an individual lady in the community, how do you feel and what would you say to encourage other people to participate and volunteer and do the same process?
Well, first I would say they don't have to be invited. They are invited right now, but anyone can volunteer to do it. And I don't think it takes any special skill either, just an interest. I don't have any financial skills at all, so I was a little intimidated when I came to that first training session that she was talking about and saw a book, you know, this thick, and it's all of that financial data for those agencies that I'm responsible for reviewing. But it's all laid out so carefully for you, and then you have the advantage of going and seeing it in action during the site visit, and then coming back and sitting down and going through it very carefully with the staff from each agency to see what their needs are. So it works whether you know about finances or not. Personally speaking, the site visits are my favorite part of the process. It's just so moving to see what they're doing. This year I also got to visit the Freedman Substance Abuse Center for the first time. And 3 of their clients, or perhaps former clients, stood before this panel of strangers, and each one told, you know, how broken he had been when he arrived there, and how that center and its staff had held him up through counseling and support while he was able to get back on his feet following his substance abuse treatment. But they continued to provide the counseling and support he needed while he was getting training or just finding a job so that he could begin to support himself again. Every story that was told from those 3 young men was so moving to us. I mean, all of us sat there in tears during the site visit. So it was just so important to see how that agency is helping mend lives, save lives, really.
I think it's so rare that clients might not be driven to be up front and talk to people. I think that would be very difficult for a lot of people to do. But what a gift it is when they do stand up and talk to folks and give a testimonial of some type.
Absolutely.
to engage other people, let them know, because I know it's one thing to sit and listen to a staff member or read it in a book, but it is another thing to go in and talk to or see and be able to ask questions,
Right.
and put that face on that person who is actually being helped with United Way funds.
Well,
I know
the
some
changing of the lives goes on not only at Friedman, but also at Day Nursery, at Oscar Cross Boys and Girls,
Yes.
at the Senior Citizen Center, where people just feel like they're wanted and needed, and they have someone that they can count on, someone that's looking after them, someone to mentor them. I mean, all of our partner agencies, family services, I hate not to mention all of them because they all do, you know, such a wonderful job at helping the people in our community that need the help. And there are some that are emergency type situations, and there are some that are in just day-to-day trying to make your lives better and more fulfilling, maybe teaching you skills that you can use later on in life. So again, these agencies address all different facets of needs for individual participants, from very young to very, very old. And all of us fall into that category somewhere.
Well, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit and ask you this question, and I am going to single one out because it sticks out in my mind as a part of our community that needs continuing support and needs obviously has additional needs. One of my visits, and I just tagged along just to see and experience it. I did not vote or choose where the money goes, but at the Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club, I know their membership is up.
Yes.
Their capacity in their building is full, but the need's still
Overcrowded,
there.
yes.
Overcrowded. Can you talk about a little bit, and like I said, I know we're singling one out, but children in this community are a very, very important part of Paducah and McCracken County, and I think we need to, the education of children, the education of investing in children, I think we need to concentrate on that. So just to single out Oscar Cross,
Okay.
can you tell me a little bit, Caroline, about how you feel the needs of this community are going parallel with the same needs of Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club?
Okay. If you ask, no matter what community you go to in the United States, if you ask what is the need in the community, most of the time it's activities for the youth of the community to try to, again, keep them out of trouble, keep them focused, give them mentors, give them the ability to learn new skills that they might not be learning in the regular school day and so forth. And Oscar Cross, again, addresses all of those issues. As you said, their facility is over capacity. They are open to all children. I'm not going to say the grades because I'm not sure if I have those specifically, but it's grade school through high school. And it doesn't matter where you live, you can be a member of Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club. And that's one of the reasons why they are in such a overcapacity situation, is because they are drawing kids from all over the community to use their facilities. They have a great computer lab there. They're trying to help kids. They have a tutoring program there to help those kids that are struggling in their schoolwork. But they also have the recreation and the ability to let off some steam, which sometimes they need too. And so, again, they're doing a wonderful job. We hope that they can take their services and expand those in other areas in our community that might have a facility that's available, maybe put some of their staff there, or try to work with the other staff to show what works. Obviously, it's working at Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club. They have the programs in place, they have the following in place, so we're just trying to reach out to as many kids as possible.
Well, I think that's important to say that you have the following.
Right.
Because it's a place the children want to be.
That's right.
And
They're not
also-
being forced to go. They come on their own, and they come in droves. And then they have, the Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club helps get them there if they want to get there, and then helps get them home too.
And I think that just reiterates the fact that we know there are children in this community that need a place to go,
That's
to
exactly
be
right.
safe, to have mentors, and to thrive.
Right.
I'll say that. So right now I think we're going to go to another clip. It's of Lisa Hoppman. She was an employee coordinator for us this year.
Visiting all of the agencies and learning the needs of the community and knowing how the money that we give, how it affects people, how it enriches their lives, how it gives them opportunities that they maybe wouldn't have otherwise. It gives them a lot of chances that maybe they would never get another way.
Caroline, I put you on the spot talking about one of my favorite agencies, and I think I'm going to do the same to Donna right now on one of the agencies she visited. She visited the Paducah Day Nursery. And with the same type experience and knowing what the needs are in the community, can you tell us a little bit about your experience visiting with Paducah Day Nursery and how it might be parallel to the needs that are in this community?
That's actually one that I have visited every time I've participated in community investment, whether I was representing the school district or this year for the hospital. That agency has been around, I think, nearly 100 years. It has such a rich history. I mean, just imagine in the early 20th century, working moms who needed affordable daycare, and of course that need has grown and grown through its history. It's had its ups and downs, but it's so rewarding to see it thriving, serving children of infancy all the way into the school age years. So now with the changes in social services, the requirement for mothers to work, it's so important for them to have a safe place and an affordable place for them to leave their children. So the day nursery is meeting that need and has for years.
And I think you're right. Once again, our community is facing a crisis time with daycare, and it's once again about children, but you know, a lot of us, that's one of the first things we think about are the young and the elderly at the same time, but that is a need, and I think it's going to continue to be a need that this community is going to have to recognize and do something about.
A lot of people say that the day nursery is one of the best kept secrets in our community, and part of being a partner agency of the United Way, we try to again get the word out and educate the entire community of what all the partner agencies do. But if you are a parent that is in need of daycare, I encourage you to contact the day nursery. They may or may not have positions or spots that are available for your particular age child, but that's what they're there for, and they're there to serve the community, and they want to be at capacity. That's one of their goals. And so if I would encourage you, if you have someone or know someone that needs those services, to contact the Paducah Day Nursery.
I think that's a good suggestion. I know too that all these 14 partner agencies do a fabulous job.
Absolutely.
And they do it with skeleton staff.
Right.
And they do it with the volunteers that come in their door all the time. And I think this is a good time to say, if you're interested in helping your community, it may be reading books at the Paducah Day Nursery. It could be going to Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club to help kids with their after-school homework. But if there is a place in your heart for wanting to volunteer your time, and your money is always welcome too, please consider giving to one of the time, energy, talents, because I think our community, that's what makes us community, and that's what makes us who we are.
And it doesn't have to be a lifelong commitment, and you can only, if you want to volunteer one day a month or one day a year, believe me, all 14 partner agencies will take any amount of volunteer time that you're willing to give them, because again, our volunteers, a lot of the volunteers that we see in community investment are also on boards of partner agencies, and they're on the councils at their churches and so forth, and so we would just like to see that volunteer base expand even more.
Well, and with the volunteers of the partner agencies comes
Right.
the volunteers we need at United Way. I hope that next year both of you will volunteer with us again. We'll be kicking off in September our next campaign that will be raising money for 2008. But also 2007. Yes. I get confused with it. But I mean, we're always needing volunteers for every aspect of our campaign, and our campaign does raise money for these 14 partner agencies, and it takes about 100 people every year. So any last words you'd like to say to encourage folks to volunteer for the United Way?
Well, if raising money isn't your thing, spending money might be your thing. So community investment would be a great place, you know, to spend those volunteer hours that you have to donate. And again, we welcome and we thank really all the volunteers, because we could not maintain this process and maintain the integrity of the process without the volunteers in the community.
And I like the word integrity, because in my opinion, it's a very efficient, accountable campaign, and the integrity to me just speaks for itself.
I agree.
Donna, any last words with you about that personal tug at people to get them to volunteer, to participate in a campaign or with United Way?
Well, again, just give it a try. You know, even if you don't have any special skill that you know of, but just have an interest in your community, just come down to the United Way office and see what you can do to help. I'm more the kind of person who'd rather spend the money than raise it, Caroline, so that's what I enjoy doing, is participating in community investment and seeing those agencies at work.
Oh, very good. Well, if it wasn't for two volunteers like you ladies, I don't know what we'd do, because you are the heart and soul of what we do. I'm there every day, but I can't be there without you all knowing you're behind me, supporting me, and out there raising the money for me. So I appreciate both of you for raising it and spending it. So I do encourage everyone next year. United Way will kick off their campaign in September, and we will be out with payroll deduction, asking for corporate gifts, asking for individual leader gifts, and also starting to get a little bit into estate planning and stock options. So I know that sounds pretty intense, but that is truly the way that nonprofits are going. So one day, the executive director of United Way, June Anthony, would like to see United Way run 100% by money that has been dedicated just for day-to-day maintenance, and let all the money that we raise every year be able to go towards these partner agencies. So we're trying to be progressive, we're trying to be efficient, and we appreciate you all spending some time with us today. Dona Rains from Western Baptist Hospital, thank you.
Thank you for
Caroline
having me.
Korte, Raymond James Financial Group, we
Thank you.
appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you next time on Community Connection.